The Bunker Project, episode number 7. Welcome back to another exciting episode of The Bunker Project. This week, we talk about ordering some new podcast gear. And welcome back to another episode of The Bunker Project. We're here in the Bunker Bar on Robson Street in downtown Vancouver.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to get into the mode. I'm very mellow tonight because I was shockingly outrageous last time.
And you had a hangover from all the black beers.
Yeah, it's true.
So today we're going to talk about a little bit of Bob's adventure into discovering podcasting equipment. He's been looking on Craigslist, and he's been, searching the blogs and reading all sorts of articles and watching YouTube videos because he's decided to get into some podcast gear, which is exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Typical. I started 8-9 months ago now with my my original podcast, which is called Business Book Chat or Business Book Talk, depends how you Google it. And that's basically I go to local business people and chat with them about a business book that they liked. And I got a real minimal rig. I went and I found for like $80 basically this dual lapel mic things that you can clip on both the people, and then it goes into a stereo jack into a little tiny $130 recorder. And that's perfect for doing these impromptu location interviews. So that's what I did for 9 months. Then slowly got more and more involved with Andrew with doing more technical podcasts like this, more studio style, and bit the bullet about 3 weeks ago and started researching it.
Mm-hmm. Tell them a little bit about how you record your podcast, because you actually record yours into 2 separate channels, left and right.
Yeah, the mic I got, I found it's called, I'll have to put it on the show notes, but it's octopussomething.com, and it's a guy who's selling his product over the internet. Basically, the mic is you got 2 two mono mics that come into a box, and then that comes out as a stereo jack that jacks into my little recorder. So it enables me to have 2 mics with 1 jack input without having to worry about the problems with adapters and things like that. Works fantastic. Really, really well. And I found the best place to record these conversations is in a car. It's like a mini sound studio. Sounds great. So even in traffic conditions right downtown Vancouver, much quieter and much better sound than like in a Starbucks, which are really, really, really noisy. Also, I have condenser mics. I don't have dynamic mics, so that makes a big difference. But when I bought them, I was debating and I was chatting with the guy, and he said, well, really, if you had a dynamic little lapel mic, it's probably not going to pick up the voice enough. So he recommended condensers. So yeah, I have a little problem with picking up a little too much ambient noise, but in some cases it sounds good.
Which is actually the ambient noise. This is a good point. When you're doing like what they call a sound seeing tour, when you're out and about in a restaurant or out in the park and you're doing a podcast where you're interviewing people at a trade show and that kind of stuff, you want the background noise as long as it's not overbearing, because that adds to the show. People can hear that you're out in the field. And it's actually a good thing, as long as it's not overbearing the people talking and getting in the way of the interview.
Yeah. I've had that where we're in a coffee shop and I try and get as far away from the counter as possible, because when they grind the beans and stuff, that is noisy. And then what I do with my when I'm doing the interviews, I say, look, when we're doing it, if it gets noisy, we'll just stop the interview. We'll just keep recording. And then when it quiets down, we'll continue the interview. And then I go back and I just edit those sections out. And that takes a lot of pressure off the person I'm interviewing too, because I also say, if you make a mistake or flub something, say, hey, you just say it again, I'll edit it out. So it's not like live radio. So yeah, really, really pleased with the sound I get out of that.
So then Bob starts sending me Craigslist.
Oh, yeah.
Craigslist ads saying, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? It looks like a good deal. And first he started sending me a whole bunch of mics, people selling, 20 mics, a lot of 20 mics and this, that, and the other. And there were some good ones, and there were some that were condenser microphones, actually good quality condenser microphones, but they're not really suitable for, especially the kind of podcast we're doing now, where we're on location in a bar and in a back room. The dynamic mic is much better suited for this kind of thing. And even a home studio, unless you can afford to buy soundproofing materials for your walls and create a sound tight room where a condenser microphone will sound great, because it really, the studio microphones that you find in radio stations are typically condenser microphones, but they have a soundproof room and a sound optimized room. So that's one thing. And tell them what microphone you actually found a pretty good deal on.
Yeah, I got an awesome deal. Okay, this is the mic I'm using right now. But before, I was borrowing one of Andrew's mics, and a pretty good mic. It had like $24, $25 for the mic, and includes a stand and a cable.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a really, really amazingly good deal. I mean, a cable can cost $8-9 in this country, right?
Yeah, you go to one of the local music stores here, and I actually did that when one of my XLR cables broke down. I replaced it for the price of the whole setup, for the stand, the mic, and the XLR cable, 25-foot cable.
Yeah. So I went on Craigslist and I checked also with Frugal, which is a great little website for checking out prices on stuff in North America. And I ran across this Shure. It's a 58 beta, and had no idea about the mic. Looked up $180 for buying one new, and she had it on sale for $80, and I talked her down to $65. Boom. So I got a $180 mic for $65. So if you know your mics and know what you want, then you can sit back and just start looking at something like Craigslist or going downtown and looking for deals. Because if you know what you need, when you see it and you know what the market value, you know what the good deal is, and so you just take it. But it might take you a couple of weeks, and I've been working on this for like 2 or 3 weeks, researching equipment.
What do you think? It sounds good, eh? For the listeners listening to the podcast, I can hear it now because I'm wearing my headphones.
Yeah.
The people in the studio can't really hear how good it sounds, but yeah, it's a good sounding mic. Very good sounding mic.
It's got more bass. Gives my voice more bass. And apparently, I read the instructions, and basically it's got a good roll off, which means it's kind of like drinking a really nice wine that finishes really nicely. So the mic has that feel to it.
And that's what I like about the black beer, because it's not like a porter or a stout. It kind of rolls off. It's like a lager, but you still have the dark taste, but it doesn't have that really strong aftertaste. It just rolls off smoothly. You know,
that's funny, because I used to be the guy that was always talking about black beer. And now, Andrew, you beat me to the punch. And I was saying, what's missing in the show? Well, it's the black beer. I haven't talked about black beer yet.
So long. You're just too excited about your new toy.
I know. It's a boys and their toys.
It's okay. I was too a few episodes ago when I got this one.
Yeah.
Which is the Heil Classic rock and roll microphone.
It's nice. It makes you really, really bassy.
Yes, it does. At first, I thought that might not be a good thing because I already have a little bit of a bassy voice, but it's okay. It's pretty good. I like it. So let's move on to the other equipment. You started to send me links to pictures of mixers that you wanted to get.
Yeah, definitely.
And some Craigslist. You said, hey, what about this one? And I looked at it and I'm like, yeah. And just to preface this, Bob wants to start another podcast where he interviews people and talks about, it's called the Great Ideas Podcast.
It's Bob the Idea Guy.
And all he wants to do is interview people over the phone or through Skype and about great ideas for their business kind of thing. Well, the mixer that he had sent me was a great deal. It was an
$35.
Awesome deal. $35. You can't lose on $35.
Awesome.
But it had no auxiliary out, which means that he could not do a mix minus, and basically what he wants to do, he couldn't even use his mixer for.
Okay, now let's talk a little bit about mix minus, because that's a highly technical. Well, it's not that technical. It's just really, really hard for people to get their heads around.
Well, basically, we can get into it in more detail in a future episode, but what it does is it allows the audio to come into the mixing board from the person you're talking to over the phone or the over through voice over IP or Skype, and you send the audio back to them from the auxiliary out of your mixing board minus their own voice.
Yeah.
So their channel's coming in, and the whole mix is going out without them included in the audio coming back to them, so they don't get that constant voice feedback loop of their own voice, which is so annoying you can almost not even, you can't even.
Yeah, it's like an echo or a delay.
A delayed
yeah,
echo
yeah.
of your own voice coming back in your headphones, so it's
Yeah.
just not going to work.
But that very simple explanation, pretty complex, and to get your head around it, that's I think we'll just have to supply pictures and stuff. I think is the best way.
We could do a video podcast on that.
Yeah.
And just explain how it works. And there's lots of other. If you just Google mixer mix minus, you'll see all sorts of videos pop up on.
Yeah, just go to YouTube and do mix minus.
Cliff Ravenscraft is a great one. Podcast Answerman episode 148, I believe. I might be wrong, but.
I mean, you got to go through all their episodes anyways. If you're really going to get into podcasting, you should really dedicate, I would say, at least a week of listening. 40
well, maybe
or 50.
more than that, maybe even more than that. But yeah, no, you can get started without, like we said in our third episode on podcasting 101.
Yeah.
You can start on a shoestring budget, $35 for a good quality headphone mic combination, and record interviews through Skype without any other equipment. And it's a great way to get started. But once you want to get the increased audio quality, and guess who's making our first cameo experience?
Here she is. She's back after being away, and she's got the most amazing timing. I was just thinking, God, I'm just about out of black beer, and ta-da!
Magic.
The magic. I know, she's the best.
And she's working on the Bunker Facebook page, the Facebook page for the bar.
I am. Check it out.
Okay.
Couple days.
Yeah, everybody now is getting all tuned into social marketing in this bar now. As earlier, I was chatting with a lady, and she's doing the open mic on Fridays at the bar. And I said, "Oh, great! So, what are you passionate about? What are you going to be doing?" So, we're doing open mic on glam. So that's her whole thing. That's the type of rock and roll that's classified as glam. Like, who's a big glam band that you know?
Poison.
Okay. So good old-fashioned tunes. I mean, these days, the stuff my kids listen to is horrible. But probably my parents felt the same way when I was listening to glam back in, the 70s and 80s. So
Yeah, absolutely. Now that you've got a full black beer,
I can relax.
you can relax.
Yeah. The shakes are gone.
Yeah. And so then you sent me another one, which was a really good, half decent.
The mixer, the Yamaha mixer, right?
Yeah, you sent me a Yamaha mixer.
150,
no,
160
it wasn't
bucks.
a Yamaha. It was a Behringer.
Okay.
You sent me, and you said, "Hey, what about this one?" And I think it was a couple $100. And
No, 180, 190, something like that.
Yeah, on Craigslist. Right?
Yeah.
And then so I sent you an email back, and I said, "Yeah, that's a good mixer. But what about this one?" And I sent you a link to Musician's Friend.
Yeah, for a brand new one.
A brand new one.
$129.
And
US.
And it has more inputs.
Yeah, it had more input. It was actually a much, much better deal.
2 auxiliary outputs. So you have the auxiliary out and the FX out.
Yep.
So you could use
It's USB, it's got.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was just an awesome deal. So then, okay. So I go to this website. Well, I'm on the website because he gave me a link. And oh my gosh, this place has got so many great toys. So I went a little nuts and made a huge order. And are we going to talk about how?
Well, then what you said is, Andrew, this is going to cost me a fortune in shipping.
Yeah. Okay. So that was the other thing is I don't order a lot of stuff over eBay now or from the States. Number one, a lot of people refuse to ship to Canada for some strange reason. And number two, it costs you $40 for the UPS guy to press a button and do your paperwork. So
and heavy mixer with microphones and
it costs you a lot of money, like another $100, $150 just to ship the darn thing.
At least $60. 60, 70, $80.
Plus $40 per package going through for your brokerage fee. If it didn't come, it could have cost me $100, $200 maybe. So anyways, Andrew being the brilliant person, he says, you don't have to do that. There's this amazing place in Blaine. So tell them.
It's called Hagen's of Blaine, and their address is 816 Peace Portal Drive. And when you use their service, that's actually your address. So it was Bob Garlick, 816 Peace Portal Lane. He ordered his stuff. It's going to come there. They charge like $2.
Oh yeah, they receive it. $2 for receiving. So I phoned him up and it was literally, oh great, what's your name, grade, and they didn't even ask for my address. They just wanted my name and my phone number. That was it, and an email, maybe not even an email. And I said, okay, so do you need my Visa card or anything? No. So okay. And they've got a website up now, so they're going a little bit more high tech. And then the other thing I had to do, I went into my PayPal account and I made a new address, and I put their address as a recognized address for PayPal. So then when I paid direct with PayPal, all the calculation would all automatically ship to this address in Blaine. So we're going to go do a road trip this Saturday and drive up to Blaine and pick up a whole pile of equipment.
Yeah.
If yours arrives. Mine arrived. I got a call yesterday. Oh, yeah, so then they call you when it arrives. So I'm walking down Vancouver, my phone rings, and this guy comes on and says, "Hi, are you Bob Garlick?" I said, "Yes." And I figured, here I'm busted. And they said, "Yeah, you're just let you know 3 packages arrived." And I said, "Oh, okay, thanks." And hung up the phone and said, "Who the heck was that?" And I said, it's the guys from Blaine. My equipment came in. Awesome. So, anyways.
Now let's talk about what I ordered.
Okay, yeah. Oh, hang on. There's another thing I ordered to go with the mixer is the
audio interface.
The audio interface, and that's another thing you've got to buy is an audio interface.
If you're going to record into a computer, you need the audio interface.
Yeah.
But it's cheap. It's like $30-$40. How much was it? $29?
$29, and it's Behringer, I think.
Yeah, and it just allows your mixer to communicate with the computer and turns the analog signal into a digital signal. So it's pretty cool. And anyways, what I ordered, and I've been wanting to get one of these for a long time, and I've been really researching it and trying to figure out what to get, and is a digital recorder. Right now I'm recording into the computer.
Which is risky.
And actually my computer just went to the, timed out for a second there and, went to the screen. I had to log back in. So I was like, oh no. And, but everything's fine.
Okay, good.
The reason why recording into a computer is risky is because you're using software, and software is not fail safe. And the computer can freeze. We're using Audacity to record directly into, this recording is being recorded directly into Audacity live. And Cliff Ravenscraft, the podcast answer man, is a big proponent of digital recorders. He pushes the Edirol R-09, which is basically a $400 unit, probably the best one on the market. Now, looks like we've got...
we got some more guests here. Oh, man, he's back. The dude.
Lovebuyingcars.ca and .com just came in.
It's amazing. Amazing.
So we're just talking about buying some audio equipment.
Yeah, on the cheap.
On the cheap.
Okay.
We'll get into Ian's microphone in a few minutes.
Do you want to go grab a drink or something, or?
Can you grab the door, because otherwise we're gonna get.
It's our sound barrier.
Ambient noise.
Yeah, I figured she could bring it.
So we're very casual at
The bunker.
At the bunker project. People can come and go as they please.
As long as they're bringing the beer.
And a lot of people RSVP, and some people don't even RSVP, and we don't get upset with people when they RSVP.
Hey, you can just pop in.
Now, not like some other meetup groups when they send you a nasty email.
Oh yeah,
you RSVP.
You RSVP. We don't like you anymore.
Yeah. No, we won't do that to people. We understand.
Yeah. We don't want to play with you anymore.
Yeah. So getting back to the digital recorder.
Yeah. So what did you decide to get? Anyways.
So basically, it's a little bit out of my price range right now, the Edirol R-09.
I know. Okay. So here's this. He's just like in agony about getting this unit.
So
should I get the cheaper one? Should I get the more expensive one?
No, there's another one that's as expensive or almost as expensive as the Edirol R-09 HR. Don't forget the HR.
All right.
R-09 HR. Yeah, and that's the Zoom H4N.
That's the brand new one that just came out?
No, that's not the brand new one. But
the older one?
It's the one with the built. It's got XLR inputs. You can have record into 4 channels.
That's a nice unit.
It's like a little mixing board almost.
Yeah, it is nice.
Now, that one I was considering as well, but it's also a little bit too expensive.
That's like $400, $450.
Yeah, it's right up there. Now, then Zoom came out with the new Zoom H1.
Yeah.
Awesome. For the price, $99.
Yeah. 99.
Watched a few reviews. The video.
It got panned a couple places.
Very good reviews. Some people didn't like it. Cliff Ravenscraft at the podcast Answerman didn't like it.
He didn't like it.
And I said, I can live with everything that he didn't like, except for it didn't have a pause button. And I actually called Zoom to verify that, because the Zoom H4N doesn't have a pause button, but the record button acts as a dual record pause. So if you need to pause the recording for a second because something happens, or you need to take a break, or whatever, you can just hit pause and then hit record and continue from there. But no, you can't do that. So
So what did you nix it? What did you get? What did you end up buying? Because everybody say, "Come on, Andrew, what did you buy? What did you buy?" Because they're gonna all run out and get one.
What I got is the Tascam.
Which are the orange one? I know because me, I'm a very visual guy, so there was these Tascams, really,
DR7.
really nice looking units.
DR07.
Yeah, I don't think there was because there's one that's kind of like looks orange.
Yeah,
got
it's
the
not
really
orange.
It's the black
I got a black one.
Yeah.
And it's almost as good as the R-09. It's got a little bit higher noise floor.
What's the input like? Just a standard little 1/8 jack, or
It's got
Yeah.
So I can just run it directly from the RCA's output into an eighth inch input. And now I'm just going to tell a little story. I think I told this in the very first episode of why it's important to get a digital recorder. And Cliff Ravenscraft, like I said, is a
what you
big
mean
pusher.
for the backup?
No.
Because it's digital?
He says no matter if you've been podcasting for a while and you haven't had a computer crash on you, you're lucky. And it's going to happen, and it's probably going to happen when you least want it to. And I'm like, okay, he's selling digital recorders, big deal. I've never had a problem. Jay Peachy invited me over to the mental health camp to run the mixing board for this concert he was doing in this big, mental health event. So I'm like, sure, I'll come out. So I went out to UBC, set up the mixing board, had this awesome band playing music. The sound was awesome. It was kicking butt. Boom, Audacity crashes it right in the middle. I was like, no! And got everything back working again, but I'm on the fly now. I don't get to test the audio, and it ended up being useless.
Oh, that sucks.
But there was a cameraman there that had an audio out going into his camera, recording the whole thing in video, and the audio portion was good. So it was the only reason we were saved is because of that. And after that, I'm like, yeah, I got to get a digital recorder.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, the same thing happened to. God, I can never remember. Sorry, dude, I can never remember your name. And I've listened to 26, 27. No, hang on. More like 50 episodes of the guy in the last week and a half. I've been
Cliff Ravenscraft?
Cliff. Sorry, Cliff. And I just can't remember his name. Cliff. I just don't know any Cliffs in my life.
Just say the podcast answer, man. That's
okay. Much easier. Yeah, okay. And I'm putting that in my computer all the time, anyways. He had the same thing happen where he was doing an interview with somebody he was never going to get a chance to do an interview again with, and he lost the whole show. And so he lost it, and the way he explains it, I'll never be able to do an interview with that guy again. And it might be because he's a little too embarrassed to phone the guy up and said, I lost the show, because I sure would be. So, yeah, no, it depends how gutsy you are.
That's actually, it was...
Who was it?
Jason Van Orden, who was doing, he's another podcasting expert, and he was doing the interview with Cliff. And it wasn't Cliff's recording that
somebody else's.
Cliff was recording into his R-09. I believe it was Jason. His side of the recording crashed or failed because of a computer crash, and then he called him up and said, "Hey, do you mind emailing me the file?"
Oh, this must have happened to him a couple of times then. Anyways,
yeah.
So long story short is you should try and have a digital recorder as a backup if you're recording it to your computer, just in case.
With the digital recorder, though, you wouldn't record into the computer at all. You would record directly into the digital recorder.
You could do both. I mean, some of the YouTubes I've been watching, they'll say, look, I recorded the computers, I really like it, but I also have going into this Tascam unit, which I just use if I have to.
Well, I don't actually see any benefit to doing that.
Well, you're kind of doubling it up, really, more than
whenever
anything
you're
else.
recording into a computer, there's a little bit of fan noise. Because of the electronics of a computer, there's a little bit of artifacting going into the sound. In a digital recorder, there's none of that, so you get a much cleaner, crisper sound. You're recording directly onto an SD card, and then you just pop it into your computer, and away you go.
Yeah, well,
I've very rarely heard of anybody having. I've never heard
I'll send you the link.
of anybody. No. I've never heard of anybody having a digital recorder fail in a while recording into it in a podcast.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, they're not going to, unless they run out of battery. Well, the thing is, what happens, the way you do it is you got one output, because you've got a mixing board, you got lots of outputs. One output's going into the computer, and you got a backup output going into the digital recorder. So no matter what happens, that thing's there.
But but my point would be that if you're recording into the digital recorder, there's no reason to record into a computer. Use your computer to send in sound effects and audio feedback and things like that.
Yeah.
Or use it for a Skype.
But it looks
a Skype
cool.
interface.
I mean, it looks cool. You have the laptop there, and you got the little
Well, you
lines.
still have the
It's
laptop.
very impressive.
You still have the laptop. We'll talk about Pod Producer in another episode because we're actually getting a little bit.
You know what I would do, just to get
Long
off
here.
totally off track, is I would get one of those great big 100-inch plasmas and have that showing my Audacity while I record my show. And look at those peaks. Yeah, nice.
Well, it could be like
Okay,
Leo
maybe.
Laporte and have like multiple monitors behind you and all sorts of,
Hey, it's all for
different
show.
monitors. Yeah.
Oscilloscope, virtual oscilloscope you can hook up. Looks great.
Yeah, the fake mad scientist type of thing. Geez, I was going to make a really brilliant comment and then I forgot. So why don't we get to the next stage? We talked mics. Oh
Before we
man!
do that,
I
before
want
we
to
do
talk
that-
about mics. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead with your mics.
Okay, so I get the Shure mic and I YouTube it, and there's all these people that it's an indestructible mic, and these guys review the mic and they say the test and it's great, and they talk about how good it works, and they say now we're gonna the durability test for these mics, and they take some plywood, some 2x4s and nails, and they hammer the nails into the 2x4s with the mics.
With the,
Bang, bang,
with
bang.
the Shure.
With the Shure mics, right? Bang, 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 right through the wood when they're still on. So you can hear this bang, 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 bang. And they talk, sounds great. I say, okay, this is crazy. So I start YouTubing more to see how many other experiments. These German guys have made a whole long video about these poor mics, and they dropped it onto a concrete from about 4 meters. And then they put it in water, and then they put it in a microwave with a pizza. And then they buried it underground for a year, took it out, smashed off the dirt, rinsed the dirt out, plugged it in, and tested it. Same quality than before they did anything to it. That's crazy.
And that's the reason that sold Bob on this microphone, because he also needed a hammer.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
If I get attacked in the parking lot, I can defend myself with this mic.
Well, and you just saved $20.
Yeah, well, okay. True. On $20 on what?
A hammer.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Bob, what are you doing? I'm just like bang, bang, doing my bang podcast show renovations. Bang. It could
All
be
right.
the Shure renovation show.
So I think now is a good time because on this show we do, we talk about podcasting, we talk about social media, we talk about other
guest
things,
spot time is
internet
basically what
marketing.
you're like.
But
mentioning.
before we do that,
Yeah.
I think we should take a little fun break. And,
Oh, here it comes. Here it
goes.
comes,
We'll
yeah.
just,
Well, you
do
talk
that
about it. I'm
now.
going to go set it up.
All right. So this podcast all started over Bob and I meeting occasionally and having a beer, or two or three. And we were talking social media and podcasting. I was doing a natural health podcast, which I still do, health empowerment with Croft Woodruff. And Bob was just, at that time thinking about starting a podcast and then started his Business Book Talk podcast. And some of these talks we'd have either just the two of us or with other people in a restaurant or whatever. We'd be like, man, that would be a great show. And another show I want to do is kind of like Vancouver Beer Casters or whatever.
Yeah.
Where we just drink beer and talk about local stuff in Vancouver. So this show kind of became a combination of the two.
No, definitely. It's got a
social
heavy
media
beer bent to it, yeah.
conversations over a beer. So we talked about this on their first episode that, hey, there's a lot of wine pairing, but we don't really have very much, beer pairing. What food goes good with beer, specifically black beer? So Bob's like, all right.
Yeah, I'm
let's
gonna
do
do
it.
it. I'm gonna do a pairing. So here we are,
let's
the
cue
first
it-
pairing.
Let's cue up the intro.
Okay. Did you bring that with you? We're gonna do that post production.
Post-production.
Okay. So,
So here goes.
Hey, it's Black Beer Food Bearing Time with Bob.
Okay, great. Now let's talk about food pairing here. I got my black beer, or what's left of my black beer, and then I've got some food that we're going to pair with it. Now, I went on the internet and actually checked out food pairing with beer, and there's a ton of stuff out there. In fact, there's this guy who wrote a book on it in New York. I sent him an email, and he hasn't got back to me yet, but ain't no big deal. And based on what I learned in those YouTube videos, I've got a ginger snap cookie. I've got a
What's that?
yeah. It's fig. Thank you. Yeah, dried fig.
Okay.
And I've got a dried peach, candied ginger, and then our artigiago cheese, which is a very, very nice cheese. It's a great cheese actually to if you really like Parmigiano cheese, but you can't afford $12 for a big chunk of it. This is half the price and tastes exactly the same. So it doesn't grate as nicely, but it's amazing if you fry it. Oh, amazing. So now we're both actually going to try it. Try a little bit of the I'm going to start with the ginger cookie. And
Well, I guess Ian's got a black beer too. So
do you want to try
maybe,
some?
Sure.
Okay, here's you can have my cookie.
All right.
There you go, your cookie. So here's me crunching on a cookie. Oh, this is a nice cookie, man. And now I'm going to try the beer. Okay, so gingery cookie flavor. You know the classic ginger cookie?
That goes good with it. And then pretty much anything goes good with beer.
Yeah, anything goes good with
Well,
black beer.
Ian just said exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say, I'm really unsophisticated, and anything goes with beer for me.
Yeah, exactly.
But some things are just really good with
Ginger's good, though.
beer.
Ginger's it's not bad actually. It brings out the oaky or those. So let's go for the ginger candy ginger, which is going to be a little bit sweeter. Oh man, that's really gingery. I mean,
Yeah, but you haven't had any black beer with it yet.
true, but love the ginger.
Wow, you can really hear that in the
That's
Bob's microphone's picking up his.
smacking of the lips. That's kind of weird because the ginger's got such a strong aftertaste. It's just sitting in the back of my palate. Okay, I'm going to try the cheese because that'll coat stuff and mellow out this ginger. And it's a very strong cheese. Okay. That is really a weird combination, ginger and cheese. Yeah, my mouth's kind of freaking out here a bit. But not bad. Actually, the thing is that the ginger's taken away a lot of the flavor of this really, really strong cheese. Okay. No. It's not a fantastic combination. I mean, it's okay, but it's not wow. I would think the ginger cookie's the best so far. And then we're going to go for this dried... I got all this dried stuff here. Maybe do fresh fruit next time. Wow. Okay, that's a really, really strong dried peach. Okay. Whoa. There's just such weird stuff in my mouth now. Now, wow. That I can really taste the beer. That really brought the beer out. It's like, oh yeah. The other stuff kind of coated the beer. The fruit really worked well. Out of all the stuff, really brought out the beer. Okay. Now I'm doing the fig. Nice crunchy sound. You know, fig's a flower. It's the only fruit in the world that's classified as a flower. Okay. Munch, munch, munch. Oh, see, that brings the whole back end of the beer back. That's working for me. Okay, out of all those, I would say the dried fig was the best.
Interesting.
With the ginger, interesting, but yeah, hang on, I'm going to do some more just to double check.
I went to a beer tasting and they had a course with figs.
Really?
Yeah. Mind you, the big hit was lamb ribs marinated in dark beer.
Oh. Yeah, I don't have that in the budget.
Yeah. Work on it.
Yeah, I will.
Get a sponsor.
Well, yeah, exactly. Okay, try and try that again. Wow. That's... Who thought of this
Well,
idea,
I
man? Who
guess,
thought of this idea?
I guess the winner is the fig.
Okay, I would say
The
fig,
dried fig.
fig, and then the ginger cookie. And
Okay.
the candy ginger, whoa, way too strong.
Well, my vote still goes to yam fries with that spicy
Okay, we'll do that next time.
mayonnaise sauce. Oh, that's so good.
Oh.
With a dark beer. Unbelievable combination.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
And
Yam
you can tell
fries,
yourself they're good for you.
dark beer. I had it with the Alexander Keith's dark ale last week, and it was awesome. I posted it on the bunker.
Yep. He had a big
Facebook
grin
page.
in his face, that's for sure.
All right, so let's move on. And
Wow.
great.
Oh, there's
segment,
my
Bob.
dinner done.
And
All right. We're tired. I'm struggling here with a mouthful of different elements. And if you guys have any comments, please log into iTunes and make the comments on iTunes because it helps us keep it up there. Oh, what's our rating? We're number one still?
we're number one.
We're number one in Canada.
In the Canadian iTunes store, do a search on social media.
And we're number one?
We're number one.
Yeah, and number three with on some other level.
Number 7 right now with social. Of course, at the time of the recording,
Yeah.
we are number 7. in
We're doing
podcasting.
screenshots. That's how vain we are. We've got screenshots. You go to Facebook, to the Bunker Project on Facebook, and we've got go into the photo section with all the cool shots of black beer. But there's also some great shots of the iTunes, so you don't have to waste your time doing research. You can just go there and go, whoa,
Well,
Andrew
you
and Bob,
gotta
they're
go
so
there-
cool.
You're going to go there anyways to subscribe to the show.
Oh yeah. You got that. There's the like,
and
thumbs
of
up
course,
button.
to leave a comment and say, how much you like the show.
Yep.
5-star reviews are appreciated.
Absolutely, and you can also go to the meetup. Even if you're never going to come here and meet up, you can always go there because it's a great way to know when the next show is happening.
Meetup.com.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
And
now-
actually, Craig Griffiths, I keep mentioning him. His daughter's going to really put him up on a pedestal now. He is a member of our meetup group, and he is in Australia.
So
In
there
New
you
South
go.
Wales.
So there you go. I mean, how cool is that? Hey, by the way, oh well, no, sorry, Ram shut down. Forgot that one, and it was really important too. Oh well, we'll have to wait until next week until I remember.
All right, and that's a wrap. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, and remember, black beer rules.
Yeah.